Hello, good morning everyone. We are the group 2 and we are going to discuss the continuation of Renaissance. And our topic is the life and work of Leonardo da Vinci and Rafael Santi. The person is Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci was an Italian polymath of high Renaissance, born on April 15, 1452 at Anciano, Italy, and died on May 2, 1519 at Château de Clos-Lucy, Ambius, France at the age of 67. And the cause of his death is his stroke. Leonardo da Vinci is an artist best known for his dramatic and expressive artwork. In his time, he was known just as Leonardo, or a second Florentine since he lived near Florence. He was raised by his single father. Did you know his name is not Da Vinci? Leonardo did not have a surname in the modern sense. He was an illegitimate son of Piero Porcino and a peasant named Caterina. His full name was Leonardo di Ser Piero da Vinci, meaning son of Piero from Vinci, the Tuscan village in which he was born. Leonardo da Vinci, considered by historians to be natural genius, today he is remembered for his art, especially in his famous masterpieces such as the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. Leonardo di Ser Piero da Vinci, o mas kilala nating Leonardo da Vinci, ay isang kilalang pangalan hindi lamang sa panahon ng Italian Renaissance, ngunit kinikilala pa rin bilang isa sa mga pinakakilalang pangalan sa mundo ng sining ngayon. Bagamat kilala siya sa kanyang dramatiko at nagpapahayag ng likhang sining, nagsagawa rin si Leonardo ng dose-dose ng pinag-isipang mga eksperimento at lumikha ng futuristic na mga inbensyon na naging groundbreaking sa panahon na iyon.
You probably know Leonardo da Vinci as a Renaissance artist. He painted what is quite possibly the most well-known portrait in the world, the Mona Lisa, as well as creating the Last Supper and Vitruvian Man. But he was so much more than just one of the world's greatest artists. Leonardo da Vinci was an anatomist who drew and catalogued the entire human body. He was an architect who designed grand cities and buildings that were revolutionary for his time. He was an astronomer who studied the night sky and created designs for one of the first telescopes. He was a botanist who examined and documented plants. He was a cartographer who created some of the first contemporary maps. He was an engineer who designed countless amazing machines and structures. He was a geologist who studied the earth, discovering and theorizing the origins of fossils. He was a hydrodynamicist, dedicated to understanding the forces and flows of fluids. He was a mathematician who incorporated his calculations into the core of his art. He was a musician who played and taught instruments, even designing several of his own. He was a theater producer who created immersive sets and props that blew away audiences. He was a scientist who theorized, tested, and discovered many new groundbreaking ideas. He was an inventor, pushing the boundaries of what was technologically possible at the time. And he did all this over 500 years ago. We'll be taking a look at the marvelous life of Leonardo da Vinci, exploring his amazing creations and ideas, and asking the question, how did Leonardo da Vinci change the world?
Here are some inventions of Leonardo da Vinci. The wing flying machine. His ornithopter flying machine was aircraft that would be fly by flapping its wings, a design he created to show human could fly. The diving equipment. This diving suit might actually has been constructed, except that the invader they were intended to repel were driven away by the Venetian Navy before the underwater sabotage became necessary. Parachute. Scholars believe that Leonardo da Vinci invented the parachute in case he needed to jump on his airplane. By the 1480s, Leonardo had become very interested in the concept of flight and strove to design a machine could sustain human flight. Revolving bridge. While da Vinci was a masterful artisan, he was also often employed as a military engineer. The revolving bridge was for quality moving troops across bodies of the water that they might encounter in their path. Here are some paintings of Leonardo da Vinci. The Salvator Mundi, The Virgin of the Rocks, Lady with an Ermine, Portrait of Ginevra Benci, Saint Jerome in the Wilderness, Self-Portrait, Head of a Woman, and the Virgin and the Child with Saint Anne. Here is the most well-known painting of Leonardo da Vinci.
The Mona Lisa. Although we already know that Mona Lisa is one of the world-famous art, but there are some facts we're gonna learn also. So, the Mona Lisa is a half-length portrait painting, considered an archetypal masterpiece. It is just not one of the world-famous art. It was described as the best known, the most parodied work of art in the world, and aside from the most famous itself, it is also a valuable painting in the world, and the most sung about. There are also some questions about Mona Lisa. Does Mona Lisa have eyebrows? Maraming nagsasabi na merong eyebrows, pero hindi lang naipinta ni Leonardo da Vinci, kaya sinasabi na ang Mona Lisa art is an unfinished artwork. Meron din nagsasabi na wala siyang kilay dahil ito ay fashion in the Renaissance period, ang mag-ahit. Women shave their facial hair including their eyebrows. Pero, according to an engineer called Pascal Cote, meron daw talagang kilay nung ipininta ni Leonardo da Vinci ang Mona Lisa. Kaya lang nawawala sa ating paningin dahil daw sa katagalan ng panahon at sa sobrang paglilinis ng painting hanggang sa tuloy na hindi na makita. Does Mona Lisa smile? The others said that her smile is enigmatic, means mysterious, but if we are looking at the picture, her lips are turned upward that look she is smiling, and her cheeks have the look that she is smiling. Next, why does Mona Lisa eyes follow you? Kadalasan, pag mga gantong uri talaga ng painting, mapapansin natin na kahit saan talaga tayo pumesto, na parang ang nasunod talaga ang mata ni Mona Lisa. Pero guni-guni lang daw natin yun, sabi ng nakararami. Kasi sa left talaga nakatingin ang kanyang mga mata. Can you buy the Mona Lisa? If yes, how much? The Mona Lisa was assessed at $100 million on December 14, 1962 and increased on 2022. Because of inflation, it is estimated around $970 million. You can buy the Mona Lisa if you have that kind of money, but still, nakadepende pa din sa Louvre Museum kung bebenta nila si Mona Lisa dahil meron silang tinatawag na French Heritage Law na nagsasabing it was truly priceless, belong to the public and by popular agreement, and their heart belongs to her. Who stole the Mona Lisa? It was stolen by the Italian handyman named Vincenzo Perugia on August 21, 1911. Before we start the story behind the stealing of Mona Lisa, we must know that the subject of the painting is Lisa Giocondo. It was created on 1503, located at the Louvre Museum. In Paris, 1911, isang Italyang lalaki na nagngangalang Vincenzo Perugia na nagtrabaho sa The Louvre Museum kung saan naroroon ang Mona Lisa art. Natanggap siya sa trabaho dahil isa siyang handyman na gagawa ng frames para sa mga art sa museum. Habang nagtatrabaho siya at nagpahinga, nalaman niya na ang mga art sa museum ay nagmula sa Italy na nag-obliga sa kanya na nakawin ang isa sa mga ito. At nang matapos niya maisip ang mga bagay na ito, nagplano siya na kunin niya ang isa sa mga art sa museum. Ninakaw niya ang Mona Lisa art noong August 21, 1911 na kung paano niya ito nagawa ay pumasok siya sa museum nang tao ay marami na nagbigay oportunidad sa kanya para makapagtago sa loob ng supply closet hanggang magkinabukasan. Sa makatwid, nasa loob na siya ng museum kagaya ng kanyang plano. At ang museum ay nagsasarado tuwing Monday na yun ang araw na nanakaw niya ang Mona Lisa. Pero kahit nagsasara ang museum ng Lunes, ay may mga bantay at tao pa din sa loob, kagaya ng maintenance workers na ginawa niyang pang-disguise sa sarili para maitakas ang Mona Lisa. At nang naging successful na ang kanyang pagnanakaw, agad niyang iniuwi ito sa kanyang tahanan sa kanyang apartment sa Paris at tinago niya ito sa loob ng kahoy sa loob ng 2 taon. At dinala naman ito sa Italy sa kanyang apartment sa Florence dahil may naganap na deal na ibenta ang Mona Lisa ng 500,000 francs at hindi ito natuloy dahil agad na siyang natukoyan at nahuli siya. At nang siya'y nasa korte, inamin niya na bago niya nakawin ang Mona Lisa ay hindi niya alam ang alinman sa mga Italian arts ang kanyang kukunin, pero nag-decide siya sa Mona Lisa. Siya ay lumabas na guilty at kanyang sinabing, "I repeat that I took the picture with the set idea that haunted me for a long time to return it to Italy. I have nothing to add." Vincenzo Perugia. After ng mga pangyayari, naibalik na ang Mona Lisa noong January 4, 1914 sa Louvre Museum.
The Last Supper. The Last Supper is an interpretation of an event chronicled in all four of the Gospels. Interpretation of an event chronicled in all four of the Gospel. A gesture symbolizing that all were equal under the eyes of the Lord. The Last Supper was commissioned in 1494 by the Duke of Milan, Ludovico Sforza. The painting was to be completed in the repertory of the convent of the Santa Maria del Grazie in Milan, Italy. The wall chosen was the end of wall of the dining hall.
In man, the bench is a study of the human form, which is meant to be perfectly proportionate through the application of geometry and mathematics. Its only meaning is to demonstrate the perfect ratio and proportion found in the anatomy. The image of Vitruvian Man depicts the blend of art and science during the Renaissance and formed the basis of Renaissance theories in art and architecture. The drawing attempts to illustrate the idea set forth by Vitruvius: the human body can be made fit inside a circle and square. The painting technique of Leonardo da Vinci is sfumato. Leonardo perfected the technique known as sfumato, which translated literally from Italian means vanished or evaporated, creating imperceptible transition between light and shade, and sometimes between colors. He blended everything without borders and the manner of smoke. Sfumato is a fine shading meant to produce a soft transition between color and tones in order to achieve a more believable image.
Rafael Sancho da Urbino, now generally known in English as Raphael. Raphael is best known for his Madonnas and for his large figure compositions in the Vatican. He had a gracious and resonates in a favored personality, which much of his art, and which gained him the patronage of popes, the friendship of humanists and leading artists. He was commissioned to paint portraits, devotional subjects, and the Pope's private rooms. He also designs tapestries. Painting technique by Raphael. Raphael not only mastered the signature techniques of high Renaissance art such as sfumato, perspective, precise anatomical correctness, and authentic emotionality and expression, he also incorporated an individual style noted for its clarity, rich color, effortless composition, and grandeur that was distinctly his own. Raphael achieved his effects by applying oil paint over these preparatory layers. Raphael stratigraphy, made of calcinated plaster and animal blue.
The School of Athens, created in 1509 to 1511, located at Apostolic Palace, Vatican City. School of Athens represent all the greatest mathematician, philosopher, and scientists from the classical antiquity gathered together, sharing their ideas and learning from each other. The primary purpose of Athenians education was to produce thinkers, people well trained in arts and science, people prepared for the peace or war. Young Athenians boys were tutored at a home until the age of 6 or 7. Then they were sent to a neighborhood school for primary education until they were 14 years old of age.
The Sistine Madonna. It is created in 1512, located at Grimaldi Gallery Altemester, Dresden, also called the Madonna di San Sisto, is an oil painting. The painting was commissioned in 1512 by the Pope Julius II for the Church of San Sisto Piacenza and probably executed on 1513 to 1514. Depicts a vision appearing to Saint